about to go behind enemy lines.
Roger, 3-2. Goliath copies all. Go ahead. Target is surrounded by multiple firms entering what appears to be a residential area. Requesting permission to engage.
From the People's Republic of New York City, you're now going behind enemy lines with Gene Baradelli and Russ Gallo.
And you are now behind enemy lines. Hey there, how you doing, America? Gene Baradelli here with you, soon to be joined by our illustrious committee on Buffoon of the Year. It is that time of year, folks. It's the most wonderful time of year. It is Buffoon of the Year season here at Behind Enemy Lines Radio, our 5th annual Buffoon of the Year. On the line right now is our illustrious fellow of Buffoonology, the incomparable and honorable Matt Fairley. Matt, how you doing, pal?
Oh, I'm doing wonderfully, thank you. How are you?
Oh, this is your season, pal. This is your time. This is your moment, right? You love this stuff.
I am sitting in my big comfy chair. I got a nice glass of scotch. Not scotch, American rye whiskey, because this is Trump's America now, and I'm
damn
making
right.
America great again.
Absolutely.
And I just could not be more thrilled to talk about who this year was the biggest dumbass.
Well, when you put it that way, it makes me want to jump right into it. We're going to have Amanda Kohut joining us in a few minutes as well. Her input was invaluable into this year's selections, as well as all of our contributors here on Behind Enemy Lines. Russ, again, can't be with us tonight, but shout out to Russ as always. We had a conclave, a grouping of our friends and show contributors that gave their input.
Oh, it was
this.
wild.
Oh, absolutely. Names
wild.
were being thrown everywhere.
There were chairs thrown. We sacrificed a goat.
And yet, this was
we really got into it.
And yet, this was one of the calmest conclaves ever.
I know, because, this year the buffoons really, really, really distinguished themselves. There were a lot of candidates discussed, but those that really, the cream rose to the cream rose to the top in 2016.
Absolutely. And just so you know, we take our buffoonology seriously here. In fact, Matt Fairley has turned it into a science. In addition to the convening of the conservative conclave of the cynical and the critical to correct the crass, the crazy, and the comically corrupt conduct of cads, clowns, creeps, and crackpots, which we have affectionately dubbed the C15 Conference, Matt Fairley has gone above and beyond in his study of buffoonology, which you can find at www.behindenemylinesradio.us. If you click on the Sharpton Scale, trademark, you will see all about it. But Matt, please give everybody a rundown of the extensive work that you have done in the study of quantifying buffoonery.
Well, we here at the Behind Enemy Lines Institute for Buffoonological Existential Research, believe that, the truly stupid and foolish need to be evaluated and studied so that we can learn from their idiocy what not to do. Because as everyone knows, sometimes the point of your life is simply to be a warning for others. And we here at the Belieber Institute really are looking for those really great examples of people who just fail. And we do this by looking at two distinct factors here. And Gene, as you're aware, there are people who are buffoonish. There are actions that are buffoonish. And we'd like to try, if we can, and distinguish between the two.
Absolutely. Now go into the portion of research involving measuring the buffoonishness of a person.
So doing this, we developed a scale. Every good scientific measurement deserves a scale. Temperature has Celsius and Fahrenheit. Weights and measures have pounds and kilograms. Buffoonology has what we like to lovingly refer to as the Sharpton scale. Because as everyone knows, there's no greater buffoon in history than the great Reverend Al Sharpton. He means well. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. But he's a buffoon. So using the Reverend Al as our lodestar of someone who is a 100 on the buffoonish scale, we can assign everyone a rating of 0 to 100 as to how big a buffoon they are. And
now, I must ask, Matt. I must ask one thing,
yes.
because obviously, Reverend Al Sharpton, the forefather of, buffoon research, you once referred to him as the only known 100 on the buffoon scale that you created, and of course you named it the Sharpton scale. In this past year, have you been able to find another 100?
I have not. I mean, we had someone come close, and we'll talk about him later.
Okay.
Talk about him later because he's one of our candidates for Buffoon of the Year.
Oh, okay. Now listen, Amanda Cohut's on the line with us. Amanda, say hi to the world.
Hi, guys.
Okay, thank goodness you're there. Matt, please continue.
I wish our connection was better.
It'll be all right. Don't worry. Matt, go right ahead.
Well, so he's the only true 100. And so, we rate people against him. What percentage of a Sharpton are you as a buffoon? If you're only about 50% of a Sharpton as a buffoon, you get a score of a 50 on the Sharpton scale. And it's very simple like that. So everyone falls somewhere on the continuum. There's maybe 2 or 3 perfect zeros in history. Gandhi, Jesus, Weird Al. Really, really good, saintly people.
Absolutely.
But everyone gets a score. Everyone gets a score. I get a score, Gene. You get a score, Gene. Our glorious President-elect Donald Trump gets a score. Everyone gets a buffoonish score.
I don't even dare ask what my score is, but please. But there's a second way to also do this, right?
Well, I'm sorry?
Hang on. Amanda's moving around a whole lot. I'm just going to repeat my question.
We've got, and her buffoon score is rising as we speak.
Wow. So, in addition to, I'm losing control already. It's the Buffoon of the Year show. Who cares? In addition to the Sharpton scale for people, what else is there for measuring buffoons as far as the acts of those people?
Well, I mean, if you go to the Sharpton scale at, once again, www.behindenitylinesradio.us, you'll see that we also measure specific buffoonish actions. Because, everyone, even the people at the very low end of the scale, are prone to doing something profoundly buffoonish. And so, again, we use the Reverend Al as our measurement, and you get a score of how many Sharptons your buffoonish act is. For example, to go back to the trademark scale, if you lock your keys in the car, that's pretty stupid. But it's not world changing. So there's only 50 Sharptons. However, if you're Gary Hart and you dare the press to follow you around with dispute allegations of adultery, and they get caught cheating on a boat called Monkey Business, that's 4 mega Sharptons right there. So you see that, we have this continuum of facts and figures that we get to use.
And of course, this part of the scale is infinite, right? There's no boundary here.
Oh no, there is no boundary. Right now, we don't have an upper limit. We're still. This is one area where the science is still being worked out. There's so many buffoonish acts through history that it's really hard for us to determine what was the most buffoonish thing ever. But you know what? We're still searching. We're going to find it.
You know what? The work continues, and that's why Buffoon of the Year is so important. It's science, people. People think that we're just here having fun, drinking, having a good time. It's science, people. Get in on it.
The best things about science were done while drunk, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. Have we not seen Drunken History? All right. Amanda Cohut is with us, and I think she's cleared up all the technical difficulties on her end. Amanda, you're there, right?
Finally here, guys.
All right. So,
yay!
We were just talking about the extensive work that Brother Fairley has been doing on the study of buffoonology. Any comment before we get into the selections?
Well, I just wanted to cover a little bit of chatter I saw in our chat room, which you can join us live for right now if you're out there listening. Something I do want to make clear is that Al Sharpton is the measure by which all buffoonery is measured. We've determined scientifically that one cannot be more buffoonish than Al Sharpton, and that's why we create the Lifetime Achievement Award. So once a buffoon reaches that status, they are retired from consideration. And Al Sharpton was our first honorific for that particular award.
And I think we should be very clear here. You don't have to get a perfect 100 to be a historically great buffoon, to be retired from our scale. But, the people who did in the 90s, that's what we're talking about if you really want to be retired. You want to have your name hung from the rafters of, I don't know, I guess my apartment.
Well, Harley, it's like measuring all basketball players ever against Michael Jordan. No one will ever be Michael Jordan.
Well, and that's the way it is. And then, you pick your lodestar and you go with it. And we've got so many great candidates.
Yes, no one can ever beat Jordan, but every now and then you find a LeBron. And that's why we can continue searching. You know what, guys? Hey, let's stop teasing the crowd. Let's start unveiling these. A la the NCAA Tournament Selection Show, we have taken what we believe to be the top 16 buffoons of 2016, and we have pitted them together in a Final Four style bracket, broken up into 4 different quadrants. A Scandalous 16, if you will. And we've broken it up by different categories, they being media, politicos, I'm looking at my notes here, personalities, and wild cards. Now, let's also be clear, guys. Hillary Clinton is not going to be on this list because clearly she would just win. We want to make this competitive. She's one of those people, these honorary buffoons that we think we're going to retire later on. There's no need to clarify their buffoonery. We know all about Hillary Clinton.
And honestly, Jean, so much of her campaign in 2016 wasn't really buffoonish. It was just kind of sad. It stopped being buffoonish in that way that we all can chuckle. It's just kind of been like, oh, really, Hillary? Oh, really? It just started being sad. She was clearly out of her depth this year. She was clearly misreading the electorate. She was clearly misreading, what she had to do, and it was just kind of sad.
Okay, so snap decision. I want it right now from both of you. Where does Hillary Clinton lie on the Sharpton scale?
I give her a 70.
Amanda?
I'm going to give her a 60.
Really? I had her in the 80s range, guys. So I guess fairly, again, is the middle ground.
My rationale is, while she...
Well, hold on, one at a time. Matt, go ahead.
I mean, the whole email thing was pretty buffoonish. I mean, that was just... And honestly, when you compare her to her husband, I mean, he's not someone we like, but that was a man with some political gifts. He would have known to say, hey, yeah, my bad, I'm sorry, And that's what he did with Monica Lewinsky. Once it finally got to the point where he was caught, he said, yeah, I'm sorry, I did it, and I'm really sorry. And he walked out with a high approval rating. She never got that. She just couldn't face that, hey, I'm wrong, is the right way to go. And that just, it's such buffoonery to dig in so deep. And that really kind of elevates her above, the commonplace of just saying stupid things. So really
the double down buffoon.
She kind of boosted herself this year.
It's the double down buffoon, absolutely. Amanda, what are your reasons for 60?
Well, first of all, no one will ever deny that she is above average on the Sharpton scale. But I think one thing to consider is that Hillary alone is not responsible for her buffoonery. How much of her buffoonery is about the institution of Clinton world? And I think when we go through our bracket, you're going to see that there's some picks on the bracket that are directly contribute to the events that played out in 2015 and 2016. So I don't want to, really give her too high a score because credit must be given to other contributors.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is true about Hillary. So much of who she is a composite of a whole bunch of other people. She's a cipher. So it's hard to attribute her buffoonishness to herself.
And now you see how much study we put into